Frontman. The Frontman from Squid Game, the masked maestro of mayhem, the conductor of chaos, and the sibling surprise no one saw coming. Let's dive into the enigmatic world of Hwang In-ho, the man who turned a children's game into a deadly spectacle, all while maintaining a wardrobe that screams mysterious villain chic. Hwang In-ho, once a participant in the 28th Squid Game in 2015, emerged victorious and decided that winning wasn't enough. He thought, why not oversee the whole operation? Thus he donned a sleek black mask and became the overseer of the Squid Game, ensuring that the deadly games run smoother than a well-oiled guillotine. Well, In-ho believes in equality, equal opportunity for everyone to meet their demise. He ensures that all 456 participants, desperate and impoverished, have a fair shot at survival in games that are anything but child's play. It's like Oprah, but instead of cars, it's bullets. You get a chance to die, and you get a chance to die. In-ho is as strict as a headmaster with a ruler fetish. He executes any underling who dares to break the rules or disrupt the games. It's his way of maintaining order, because nothing says discipline like a bullet to the head, and the cherry on top. He shot his own brother, Detective Hwang Jun-ho, who was snooping around the games. Family reunions must be awkward. The Frontman is the epitome of Big Brother is watching, except this Big Brother has a penchant for deadly games and a flair for the dramatic. Ultraman Belial. The cosmic equivalent of that one guy who brings fireworks to a candlelit dinner. Once a proud Ultraman, Belial took a nosedive into villainy faster than when your dad goes to buy milk. He is the main antagonist of the Ultraman franchise, and an archenemy of Ultraman Zero and the father of Ultraman Geed, who was created with his genetic components. Originally, Belial was one of the most powerful and renowned Ultras in the Land of Light, but he had a teensy-weensy obsession with power. When he tried to take away the power of the plasma spark, it didn't go as planned. Instead of gaining ultimate power, he got a one-way ticket to Banishmentville. But did he learn his lesson? Of course not. He merged with Rayblood, got a villainous makeover, and became the first Ultraman Rayonix. Think of it as joining a gym, but instead of lifting weights, you lift entire planets into chaos. Belial's resume of evil is quite impressive. He orchestrated the Belial Revolt, which sounds like a rock band but was actually his attempt to conquer the Land of Light. He overpowered his fellow Ultras, including Ultraman Ken and Ultrawoman Marie, and stole the plasma spark, turning their home into a cosmic popsicle. And just when you thought he couldn't get any worse, he controlled a monster army using the Giga Battlenizer and becomes Beludra, a gigantic chimeric monster made up of over 100 other monsters. Rinny. She's the kind of character who makes you want to hug your teddy bear a little tighter, and then maybe set it on fire just to be safe. Rinny is the main antagonist of the web series Pretty Blood. She's a polar bear Molino who works for an organization that kidnaps and abuses Molinos for money and entertainment. Rinny presents herself as a charming and outgoing Molino, but in truth, she's a cruel sadist driven by a lust for torture. She has committed numerous heinous crimes, including torture, human trafficking, mutilation, child abuse, you name it. Her most despicable act involves recording herself torturing her daughter after unaliving her husband and blaming someone else for it. Rinny was raised by her parents, Limo and Alex. However, she was born as a psychopath. In her childhood, she unalived her pet cat when she was only 4 years old. In Toy Lily, she spikes the punch and knocks everyone out. She then sells them to Pretty Blood. One of these friends, Lily, is surgically implanted with an exoskeleton that lets Rinny remotely control her. She uses it to force her to unalive her own family. In the Red Snow series, she relocates her torture chamber to a remote cabin, where she abuses Looney, Bloon, Copper, Elma, and Carl. They escape and tie her up, where Looney gets revenge on her by torturing her. If you're ever in the mood for a character who makes Hannibal Lecter look like a misunderstood gourmet, Rinny's your gal. Diavolo. Diavolo, also known as the Boss, is the main antagonist of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Golden Wind. Straight from the pages of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, this guy isn't just evil, he's a full-course buffet of villainy with a side of existential dread. Diavolo kicked off his life by trying to erase his own past, literally. He attempted to silence his mother permanently by sewing her mouth shut and burying her alive. When that didn't quite go as planned, he He decided arson was the next best option, setting his hometown ablaze and unaliving his adoptive father along with 5 others. Talk about a dramatic exit. Fast forward to his adult years, and Diavolo becomes the elusive boss of Passion, Italy's most stylishly dangerous mafia. His hobbies include drug trafficking, identity erasure, and many more. Diavolo's alter ego, Vinegar Doppio, is the unsuspecting puppet in his twisted game of hide-and-seek. Together, they wield the Stand King Crimson, which allows Diavolo to skip time and deliver fatal blows before his enemies can say anything. It's like fast-forwarding through the boring parts of a movie, except the boring parts are other people's lives. Diavolo's quest for anonymity and control lands him in a fate worse than death, an eternal loop of dying over and over again, courtesy of Giorno Giovanna's Gold Experience Requiem. It's poetic justice for a man who tried so hard to erase his past, only to become a permanent fixture in the annals of villainy. Evolto. Kamen Rider builds answer to the question, what if a black hole had a personality and it was a smug jerk? This cosmic calamity from the Blood Tribe isn't just your average villain. He is a mysterious extraterrestrial entity who devoured countless planets across the cosmos. He is a member of an enigmatic extraterrestrial clan known as the Blood Tribe, who uses the evil driver to transform into Kamen Rider Evil, and the one who annihilated the ancient civilization on Mars long ago using the power of the Pandora box. He caused the Sky Wall disaster whilst possessing Soichi Ishiruji and framing his host for it and having him arrested and placed in a mental hospital. He returned to his true alien form and consumed the planet with his black hole abilities as a show of force, planned to consume Earth to gain more power and recreate the universe in his own image. He sent a sample of his own genes to Earth, which went into Ryuga's mother and legally raped her to corrupt her womb with his DNA. She later gave birth to Ryuga, who appears to be Evolto's biological son because of it. In the end, Evolto's downfall came at the hands of the very heroes he sought to destroy. But not before he left an indelible mark on the universe, and a reminder that sometimes the biggest threats come with the smuggest grins. Micah Bell. The man who could make a rattlesnake seem cuddly. In the world of Red Dead Redemption 2, he's the guy who makes you wish the Wild West had HR departments. From his teenage years, Micah was already auditioning for the role of most likely to commit atrocities, having committed double homicide with his father at just 17. He didn't just cross moral lines, he danced over them in spurred boots. Whether it was shooting up half of Strawberry to retrieve his favorite guns or betraying the Van der Linde gang to the Pinkertons, Micah's resume reads like a checklist of villainy. His interpersonal skill, let's just say they were as charming as a cactus hug. He was an equal opportunity offender, racist, sexist, and ageist, insulting fellow gang members like Charles, Lenny, Javier, and even the camp dog, Kane, whom he allegedly kicked and possibly unalived. He manipulated Dutch, the gang leader, turning him against longtime allies like Arthur and John. And when it came to Arthur, Micah didn't just betray him. He mocked his illness and ensured his demise, either directly or by leaving him to succumb to tuberculosis. In the end, Micah's treachery caught up with him, and he met his demise. But not before leaving a trail of betrayal, bloodshed, and bad vibes. Truly, Micah Bell is the kind of character who makes you appreciate the moral compass of a rattlesnake. Negan. Negan Smith, the man, the myth, the leather-jacketed lunatic with a barbed wire bat named Lucille. If charisma were a weapon, he'd have wiped out the apocalypse single-handedly. But alas, he chose to swing Lucille instead, and not just for batting practice. Before his redemption arc, Negan was the head honcho of the Saviors, a group that believed in the fine art of extortion. His leadership style. Think of a motivational speaker with a penchant for violence and a love for monologues that could rival Shakespeare if Shakespeare were into post-apocalyptic tyranny. Negan's villainy wasn't just about brute force, it was about psychological warfare with a side of sadistic humor. He had a thing for making jokes while tormenting his victims, admitting that he enjoyed unaliving those he deemed deserving. His actions included burning half of Dwight and Mark's faces with an iron, Dwight for attempting to escape and Mark for having fun time with one of Negan's wives. He disemboweled Spencer in front of the Alexandria community for plotting against Rick, and then had Urat unalive Olivia after Rosita's failed assassination attempt. Negan also unalived Dr. Carson by shoving him into a furnace, mistakenly believing he had helped Daryl escape. Negan is a complex character, a villain with a twisted sense of humor and a bat, who eventually sought redemption. Just don't ask him to babysit. Destoroyah, the kaiju equivalent of that one coworker who microwaves fish in the office kitchen and then sets the building on fire just because. Born from a colony of Precambrian crustaceans mutated by the oxygen destroyer, yes, the same weapon that offed the original Godzilla, Destoroyah decided that if life gives you lemons, you should obliterate all life on Earth. He planned mass genocide on all life on Earth, because who needs a reason when you're a mutated sea bug with a vendetta? Destoroyah tortured Godzilla Jr. by stabbing him and injecting him with micro-oxygen, unalived a lot of people with no remorse, and nearly unalived Godzilla Jr. right in front of Godzilla, who was just about to reunite with his son. And just when you thought he couldn't get any worse, Destoroyah took immense pride in causing pain and suffering, deliberately destroying cities like a kid knocking over sandcastles, all while laughing sadistically. Now some might argue that Destoroyah's actions are due to his mutation and lack of moral agency, but let's be real. When you're dragging a grieving Godzilla around by his tail and attacking him with smaller versions of yourself, you're not exactly winning any empathy awards. Hey everyone, thank you all for watching until the end. I'll be back with more videos, so make sure to like and subscribe.